So one of the 100 things that I do is I'm a healer, and I've heard you talk a lot about how Christ healed and the instantaneous healing that was provided.
Well, he just knew wellness. He didn't focus on illness. So when you are a healer, sometimes you focus on the illness that you're trying to heal, and it slows your way down.
How can we bring that back into the world? Because it's not as prevalent, I
It's
think.
already in the world. You just have to know it. Happens all the time to people. All the time. People have instantaneous healing. It happens all the time. They don't even need a healer. They just need to get out of the way of the healing, and the healing will happen. But there's a sort of misunderstanding, because none of you intended to come here and stay all the time, and so you just need to sort of get out of the judgment about whether. Here's something that will really help you. One of the first things that we said to you all today was that humans have this propensity to look at manifestations rather than be aware of the energy that is creating them. And as they look at manifestations, then they want to sort them into piles of good and bad and right and wrong and black and white, talking about race, female and male, all kinds of categories. And usually in those categories they have judgment about them, Republican, Democrat. What we would like you to know, what your inner being does, your inner being would like you to take all of those piles, sick and well, rich and poor, and scramble them all together so it's one big soup, which is what it is, a soup of humanity. And then understand there are really only two piles, in alignment or not. So there are Republicans in alignment and those who aren't, and Democrats who are in alignment and those who aren't. And there are people of all nationalities who are in alignment and those who aren't, and females and males. And once you understand that that is who you're meeting, you're not meeting people that have these strong beliefs that are pushing against you. You're meeting people who are under the influence of their inner being, or under the influence of something else, under the influence of love in this moment, or under the influence of hate. And all of those categories have some of all of those. And so once you understand that, not only about them but about you, and you care about which category you're in by taking care of your satisfaction factor, then what you begin to discover is that you are an uplifter. You are a continual healer of all things. That's what you radiate. When you stood before Jesus dripping your illness, he didn't see your illness because he was not under the influence of illness. He was under the influence of wellness. He was under the influence of what your desire was, you see. And so your illness could not abide in his vibration of wellness, because he was so focused and had so much leverage and was so in tune with his inner being, and that 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 inner being, all that is source energy he had access to. And so as he held you as his object of attention, your illness just couldn't abide in that vibration for that time, because he had practiced knowing what that vibration felt like. It can't just be a last-minute judgment. You can't just say all of a sudden, oh, I'm just going to think about wellness when you've been practicing something else. You can't look into a world where there's illness going on without having it be part of your vibration. You got to practice yourself into knowing that, you see.
So my methodology when I heal,
You don't heal. You don't heal. You're not the engine of healing. Healing happens and you don't get in the way of it.
Right.
And when you're not in the way of it, then you're going with the flow of it, and you can influence the flow of it. You are not the healer. You are the influence of the natural healing. It's important to know that.
Right. No, sure. I'm a cooperative component of the healing.
There you are.
The way I really say it, to try to put the words a little bit more precise, is when people come for healing, that's their way of releasing their resistance to receiving the healing. I'm agreeing to participate in it, and then I feel led to gently guide them through whatever thing that we do that I think is going to allow them to receive it the most. And I'm just wondering, what's the best way for me to do that for myself? Because there seems to be a little bit more push and pull that way.
Of course, that's natural, because you don't have a belief system about others like you do about yourself. You haven't practiced as much resistance about them as you have about yourself. Everyone is always less resistant in a general sense than in a specific sense. And so the others are more general to you while you are more specific to you.
Okay, that makes sense.
It does make sense, doesn't it? So just take it easy.
Yeah. Okay, all right,
Really
thank
good.
you.